Welcome back to Plan Voodoo. I'm your host Derek, and today I will be previewing Survivor Season 44, Episode 12, as well as providing recaps for Episodes 10 and 11. Yes, I know we did not post recaps for Episode 10 and 11 for Survivor Season 44, and yeah, stuff came up, unfortunately, but I will use this podcast as a way to talk about a little what went down, who went home. We're going to talk about Franny. We're going to talk about Danny. And then I want to save the later half of this episode as a preview for the rest of the season moving forward. There's only six castaways? Yeah, 6 castaways remaining on the season. We're near the end here. We're getting near the end. The finale's just around the corner. And so, yeah, that's the structure of this episode. Let's get straight to it. So let's talk about episode 10. Franny goes home. Yes, Franny was my draft pick in our season 44 draft. And it sucks. It sucks to see her go. She was very well-versed in challenges. We saw her win 2 immunity challenges. And she won Reward Challenge in episode 10. And she chose all of the moms to go on the reward, that being Lauren, Carolyn, and Heidi. And I was so sure of it. I was so sure that my prediction was going to be right, that Danny was going to go home that episode. That was my prediction, that we were going to see Carolyn. We saw her at that point, had issues with Danny. And then we saw Lauren. Her and Danny kind of were going at each other. And Franny is kind of in the middle. But that did not come to fruition, unfortunately. We see Franny go home. She played a great game, but was too much of a threat physically that they left her out of the vote. Yeah, she wasn't even in on the episode 9 vote. I know that Alex, Martin, and I were talking about it, how it made no sense the way she voted at all, really, and we got that from her early on in episode 10, that yeah, she just didn't know what was going down, which is not good. It's not good at all. So Franny, enjoyed seeing you play. Maybe we'll see you play if they have a returning season here in the next, before 50, of course. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Franny. Danny, real quickly. Or the way he went out like Robert De Niro. It's quite funny in episode 11. But Danny and Franny both rhyme. Yeah, he was quite the power player to begin the season. Also was on Soko with Franny. And I don't understand why he went home this episode. I honestly don't. It was clear to me that there was 3 Tika, 2 Ratu, 2 Soka remaining. So if you let Tika control half the numbers, you're in trouble. And that's exactly what happened here. Or maybe they think there's going to be some internal strife, which is, there's quite the chance, I guess. But Danny was a big threat. He could also win challenges. I think he won, or actually I don't think he won. Or no, yeah, he won 1 individual immunity. I believe. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, he was a fun character. We saw early on in the season with the birdcage and the idol, the way he played it against Matt, very aggressive, Tony-esque, but then he kind of just faded come merge, wasn't really calling the shots, didn't seem like he had much say until the Franny vote in the previous episode. And so I was thinking maybe he was going to start rising up again, but nope, it did not happen, unfortunately. But he was very fun, and he was part of Martin's team. Martin probably still has the winner who's remaining, because Alex and I each have 1 person, and they are probably the 2 least likely people to win, that being Lauren and Jamie, with Martin having, or actually I do have Heidi. I have 2 people. But Martin has all of Tika, and there's a great chance that someone from Tika wins, that being Carolyn, Carson, or Jam Jam. You know, it's quite funny that since the merge, we've seen the tallest person or near the tallest person go out every single vote. Yes, it started with Matt, or it started with Josh rather, and then Matt, then Brandon, then Kane, then Franny, and now Danny. At this rate, seems like we will get Lauren and Heidi in the final two, and that'd be great for me because they're both on my team. I'd love to see that. Yeah, keep it up, Survivor 44 contestants. If you can keep voting out the tallest person, I will win the draft, and that will make me super happy. So please continue that streak. But other than that, I do want to talk about the remaining castaways. Yes, now it's time to talk about Carolyn, Carson, Heidi, Jamie, Lauren, and Jam Jam. So I want to get through the thought process of what Lauren and Jamie did this episode. They had the choice, it seemed like. Would they side with Selka, that being Danny and Heidi, or would they go with Tika? We had seen Ratu, which had Lauren and Jamie. Their castaways were voted out several episodes in a row, Brandon and Kane, until the Franny vote out. So maybe they saw a light at the end of the tunnel for working with Tika. But I think what it came down to is what we saw at the very beginning of episode 11. Carolyn visibly frustrated with both Jam Jam and Carson that they voted out one of her closest friends out there, that being Franny. And maybe some cracks are forming and everyone sees that. I mean, Carolyn, I think she said it at several tribal councils. She will not shut her mouth pretty much, and everything will come out. So, and that can be her downfall. And I think that Lauren and Jamie plan to use that against Jam Jam and Carson. Maybe we see the women kind of unite and form an alliance for the end game, that being Heidi, Lauren, Jamie, and Carolyn. Very possible. 6 people left. Maybe that's kind of my only rationale for what Jamie and Lauren did. Otherwise, it's Survivor's a numbers game. So Tika having 3 with 6 people left is not ideal. And the margin for error and their room, their path to victory, in my estimation, has actually decreased as a result. I don't think it was the best move. I think retaining Danny and voting out one of Tika, probably Carson, who was the name floated out there, was the correct move to do. But it didn't even matter. I don't know, because Carolyn played her idol for Carson, so Carson was going to be safe regardless based on how the others were voting. So that point is kind of moot, to be honest. But yeah, I want to talk about both Jamie and Lauren simultaneously because they both started with Ratu. And we haven't really gotten much. We're getting more and more each episode from them. But it feels like the story's being told through Tika's eyes, those on Tika. And I'm not sure that either of these women have a real shot at winning, to be honest. I don't know. They're just kind of a vote the way it's being portrayed as it currently stands. Yeah, I just don't see a path to victory for either of them. I am quite shocked. So in episode 10, there was a big deal about Jamie and her telling the story of how Kane went home with her idol because they were worried about knowledge is power. I am shocked that in episode 11, we got nothing. We got nothing about Jamie and the possible fake idol, because in episode 10, everyone was like, nah, I'm not buying it. I don't buy the story. When in actuality, that's what happened. But we didn't get any of that in episode 11. That makes no sense. No sense. What? Are you telling me they didn't talk about it at all? She's just not a target anymore? That people think she still is an idol, but they're not targeting her? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. Makes no sense to me. Yeah, makes no sense. And then there's Lauren. So Lauren, she's won one immunity. I do recall that. And that was a head-to-head against Danny. And I don't think, she has not received a single vote against her all season, which is quite impressive. But also at the same time, are you not receiving votes because you're not a threat, or are you not receiving votes because you're flying under the radar? It's typically one or the other. It's a thin line based on how people view your game. I know there's a no vote finalist, there's a finalist who received no votes heading into the finale, and that was Gavin in season 39. And I feel like Lauren's kind of on a similar trajectory. Honestly, she might make the finale, and that is a good case, saying she had no votes against her. But I don't see her winning at the end if she doesn't pull off some big moves here down the stretch, taking out Carson, taking out Tika, taking out Carolyn, taking out Jam Jam. So let's move on. Let's talk about the lone Soka member. That's Heidi. Yes, Heidi. She's playing clumsy. She's playing quite clumsily. Now, I know I've been quite high on her in comparison to both Alex and Martin, but I have no explanation for why she voted Danny in episode 10. And that's going to come back to bite her. Like, if she makes a final 3 and she says she played with, like, honor and integrity or something along those lines, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But I don't anticipate she would say that she played that play style if it does come down to the end, because she says she's doing whatever it takes to win. So if she owns up to it, then yeah. But that's not it's not one way to build trust when everyone perceives you and Danny to be the closest. Or not the closest. Everyone perceives you and Danny to be a close pair, and you're willing to vote him out at 8. That's quite early. That's quite early, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not sure where she goes from here. She just lost Danny. She lost Franny, and she doesn't seem like people trust her. The only thing that she has going for her is she does have a hidden immunity idol that can protect her. I'm sure she's probably going to use it come next episode. She will probably be the one that will be targeted by Tika, and I think there's going to be some fireworks. Maybe we see. I think next episode's. I'm not gonna say it now. I'll save it for the end of the pod. But it's going to be some fireworks. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Heidi. Not sure how she can improve her position within the game, the way it's set up. Now let's talk about Tika. So 3 remaining on Tika: Carson, Carolyn, and Jam Jam. Obviously, it seems like one of these people are gonna win the game. I would assume that I don't know who wins, to be honest. The person playing the best game so far has been Carson. We had not even heard his name thrown out there until this episode. He's just flown completely under the radar. I don't think he had received a vote until this episode. And he was calm under the pressure. It was good to see that he knew his name was out there, but didn't do a hard scramble and trusted those around him that they would still have the numbers to at least force a rock draw, and that they were willing to go that far for him. So Carson's in quite a good position, although his perception now as a bigger threat might come to the foreshadow as he's won immunity again. Yeah, he's built so many puzzles, 3D puzzles that survivors created, and he could very well win the remaining challenges and win his way to the end. And I don't know if they know what they're doing, because he's obviously as big as a threat in my mind to win challenges as Franny was, who won 3 herself. So if that's the case, then Carson might be next to go. We'll see. And then Jam Jam, I want to talk about him a bit. He might be biting off a little more than he can chew for this reason only. He loves to talk. And he seems like the type, from what I've seen, and as we know in Survivor, perception is reality, that he's gonna be a little boastful if he feels like his path to the end is clear. And I could see him kind of just, I don't know, just being a little braggadocious about and dismissing chat from those on Ratu and Soka remaining, that being Jamie, Lauren, and Heidi. So we'll see, but I think that we're getting ready for Jam Jam to go here. That's my prediction. And then finally, Carolyn. Yes, Carolyn has been the voice of the season with the cold open on episode 1 until now. We've seen her strategy plays, and she had probably the biggest play of the season, and it is probably the most important play of the season, which was saving Carson, although Carson didn't have the votes against him, but enough votes against him, but it saved one of her potential allies from going home and from the others from grabbing the numbers and essentially being able to pick off Tico from there. So I applaud her idol play. I think it was a smart idol play. It secures her trust with Carson moving forward. That's bonded. I think now that Carson would want to keep Carolyn over Jam Jam, so smart. Yeah, she's just very personable. Every time we see her, it's always her telling stories and connecting with people. And I could very well see her winning this game. I believe she was our 16th pick, first pick at the last round in our draft. So yeah, what a run for Carolyn. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out at the end, and I don't think she really has any heat on her, because to be honest, she still has the perception that she's not really playing, that she's just kind of there. And she plays into that. She really does. She wants you to think that. And she hates talking games. She's said it several times, even at Tribal Council. She hates it. She'd rather just not do it. And I think that the only thing that could come back to bite her is this idol play and her finding the birdcage idol. Then people will maybe be clued on, hey, she's more of a social threat and more strategic than we gave her credit. So those are the only things that I could see going against her. But at this point, I think that she's going to be the winner of season 44. So last thing I want to do to wrap up this episode is give my prediction about what is going to happen in episode 12, Survivor 44. So what I think will happen is Jam Jam is going to get in over his head. Yes, he's going to dismiss talking with Heidi. Heidi's going to want to chat with him, and it's going to bite him in the butt. Yes, we're going to see Heidi successfully play an idol to nullify her votes against her. And in turn, we will see Heidi and Jamie and Lauren all vote for Jam Jam. And Jam Jam will be going home. Episode 12. Book it. You heard it here first. Yes, you heard it here first. So make sure, if that does happen, to share it. But yeah, this wraps up Playing Voodoo episode 12 preview, as well as episode 10 and 11 recap. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give a follow or subscribe wherever you're listening, whether that be Spotify or YouTube. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Plan Voodoo Pod. Appreciate you guys for listening. This is Plan Voodoo.